We have with us Mr. Kishore Chand. He's a journalist from Manipur, and since 2014, you have been doing journalism. You have also got arrested. You have got cases filed on you, sedition and otherwise. You have gone into jail. You have come out. Uh, we welcome you here for the interview, sir, and we are glad that you agreed to do it. Starting, I have a very simple first question, typical question. How did this journey started? Like how you landed up in journalism at the first place?
Uh, Journalism for me is not by choice, it is rather by coincidence. As in, uh, since my school days, I'm really outspoken. I participate in a lot of seminars and exhibitions and debate, representing the school. So in some corner of my mind, I have this, desire to become a journalist and then host talk shows, especially, and report from, difficult terrains, difficult situation, and those things that actually inspired me a lot during my school days and my college time. But I never thought that I would become a journalist. But having worked at Delhi for some time in multinational companies, I returned home and then I was looking for some sort of a job. I started, teaching in coaching centers on communicative skills and personality development. And in 2014, probably that was in January, I think, I got this advertisement of Impact TV. This was a very new sort of a media house that time. There were only one cable network in Manipur, but this one was the second cable network that was being established. So they were looking for a news reader in English, and I applied it, got selected, and started reading news. But as I had that zeal to know more about journalism, so my duty at that time was just half an hour or so, because you would just come read the news and then go back. But I stay back at the office because the office was very near to my house. So I looked into what was going on, what are the things that they do, what are the ethics that do actually apply while reporting or while editing all this, and that fascinated me a lot. And then, fortunately, within the organization, there was this sort of a promotion or a direct entry for sub editor. I applied for it. Initially, I was rejected because I don't have that, a very strong background of journalism or mass communication. But I said I have been helping in those capacities, although I don't have that formal, education background of journalism. So slowly they considered and then appointed me as a sub-editor, and that's how I started my career. And then once I became a sub-editor, I started hosting, those talk shows, live talk shows with politicians, a lot of experts or professors from all walks of life and from all professions. So that's how I started, and probably my ability to face the camera made me again a very good advantage to report from different fields, different areas, and from different situations. So that's how I started, and yeah, it's how I started my journey in journalism. Yes.
You said to the chief minister, FO, and you posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So after that, a lot of things happened. So if I may ask, do you regret it? Do you regret saying it?
No, not at all. Had I been regretted with those words, probably I wouldn't push up to here. I take it as a boon, not as a bane for me. I realized that those unparliamentary words could have been avoided. But having said that, there is no regret of mentioning those words because it was a natural outburst that has been looming large in my mind and my heart of what I said in during the session as well. Now, if you ask me why I did that, or probably what was the outburst about, then I have to go a little bit to the history of Manipur. Manipur was a princely state which had its own ethnic culture, ethnic custom, ethnic religion, all ethnic setups, very different from mainland India. Now, in the 17th century, there was this missionary from Bangladesh, Silhet, if I'm not wrong. He came to Manipur and then destroy all those old cultures and then introduce Vaishnavism or Hinduism in Manipur. That's where the identity started slowly losing. Our cultures, our religion, our language has already been imposed by some outside influence, to say so. So, however, in the last couple of decades, we have seen a slow revival of those old cultures, or traditions, or language, or religion. The very perfect example for that is that we had been using Bengali script, because yes, he was a Bengali from Bangladesh, preaching those Hinduism. So he even introduced this script to us, and then we were made to forget the old script that we have. So now that Bengali script is almost gone. It has been replaced by the old script now. So this is a strong sign of the revival movement that has been going on in Manipur. Now, what I felt about the far right wing ideology is it is a threat to us as a marginalized minority ethnic community like ours. It's a threat. Why? Because their one propaganda, their one thing is that one nation, one religion, one language. I mean, India is a very diverse nation. You cannot. I mean, I don't see any possibility of introducing those kind of ideology in diverse country like India. So what I felt was the revival movement is now getting momentum, but with the onset, with the coming of the far right wing government in Manipur, that very revival movement is being threatened. Now, why I said those FOFY is because simply I am not against the spirit of Rani Jhansi. I know who she is. I know what her role was. But now, if you ask your generation to forget your own forefathers, your own brave hearts, and then impose someone else, I'm saying this very specifically, someone else, because in India you have regions, every region has its own identity. If you say people in the south to go and celebrate, Rani Jhansi's birth anniversary, I don't think. I mean, I'm not saying that they would not do at all, but it would be very, very, different from the perspective. So, my outburst was that introduction of this kind of, majoritarian rule, majoritarian culture, majoritarian language, religion in our ethnic community would be a threat to our own existence. So I said it's not necessary. I mean, if you really want to instill or imbibe, patriotism or nationalism to our younger minds, then talk about our own brave hearts, because we have a link with them. We don't have any link with Rani Jhansi, because when she fought against the mighty British, it was way before, way back in 1857. Now, during 1857, Manipur was not even in India. Manipur was a princely state. There has no connection with the British Empire in India and Manipur that time. So there is no connection.
You talk about history, and in the present times we see that the history is being supported, changed, and moved here and there by the people belonging to the present regime. And you talked about Manipur's history. But the government also talks about integration, that we have to integrate, get Northeast. And just today I was reading in the paper, and the Prime Minister has mentioned that never in the past Northeast was respected the way it has been respected now under our time. And in the institutions also we see a penetration of people from the right-wing Hindu ideology, the RSS. And in that context, vis-a-vis the Northeast, where the Prime Minister says that they are, giving you that hand, and the ministers, the people in power also say, yeah, we have to, talk to the New Delhi. How do you see it? And how do you see this penetration specifically among the institutions there?
My first arrest was on Manipur University crisis, and the issue was what you just said: penetration of far right, wings, the student body or student organization into our, say, university, temple of learning, for example. And talking about integration, I'm not against integration. It's always welcome, but you have to keep this in mind, that when you do the integration, you cannot forget the regional identity. you will have to bring those things into the center point. Not that the center point will go like this and then spread everywhere and that become the integration. No, integration, what sort of integration I want is that you need to take those regional identities, those regional differences into consideration, and then come with a concrete platform for the integration. Not that you impose your thought, not that you impose your ideologies to the minorities and then try to suppress them and then make them extinct from this world at all. Because whenever you talk about integration, it will be always what the ideology that they have right now. It's not. I mean, this is not what I'm saying, but this is happening right now, because these people are not accepting the other ideologies, the other identities. What they want is they want to impose their own to other people who are a little bit marginalized, who has no power. So I'm not against integration, but the integration should be other way around. Because as I said, India is a very diverse country. You have to consider each and every ethnic minorities, each and every religion, each and every sort of things. You cannot just go on talking about one idea and then you follow it. That would be a totalitarian. That would be an electoral autocracy. So that sort of integration is not something that the younger generation would accept, especially those who are not online with the far right-wing ideologies. I mean, that's not going to accept it. And even I'm not going to accept that. So we have to have our own space. It's not that you occupy our space and made us integrated to your say thing. No, that's not something I want. We want our space in that process or transition of integration. You cannot left us out. Developments happening in Northeast, pretty much welcome. The olive grain that the Prime Minister Modi extended to the people of the people of Northeast, and talk about integrating Northeast with the mainland India. I mean, it's very nice to say, but it's very hard to implement. I don't think that it will happen so soon. It will remain for like this for so long. There will be a lot of this grudge. There will be a lot of differences in opinions. There will be a lot of. I mean, we need a lot of time to think, a lot of space to accommodate all those ideas, and then we need to take it forward and think about the integration. It's not from here to here. I want the integration from the outward moving toward the center core. It's not happening.
Sir, when you got arrested, you mentioned that you have a son who is very young, 1.5 years. How was it? You are going to jail. Were you aware that this is going to happen when you wrote on Facebook FO to the Chief Minister? And what was the reaction of your family? And do they support you now, even now you continue to do what you think is right for the people of Manipur and for the people of Northeast, and you strive for justice and equality even among the stories that you do? So what is their response also to that?
Initially, when I started criticizing the regime on my Facebook posts, because I was not allowed to do all those kind of little different story in my organization, because you know why. So I use my own platform, social media, to somehow criticize things that I don't want in the region. Initially, I never thought that I would land in jail for such a post, because it was not a direct threat to any person personally. I was just making my outburst because of those angers and those things that I have in my mind. But somehow, yes, I landed in jail first in my university crisis. I spent 3 days. So from there on, I know that my wife, especially, and my family are not that too feeble to just break down easily. No, I be different because I know what I'm doing, so I have to bear the responsibility, or I have to bear the outcome. But I never thought that my family would be so strong that they would stand up for me and then fight while I was in jail, especially my wife. When I was detained in NSA, she visited first time. She visited at Sajiwa jail and asked me what I want her to do. I said, if you're tired enough you may go to any person and say that I'm tired. Let's give up this and apologize and then let me be free. I was just trying to know her thought, and she said no. If you're not ready to apologize, then why should I? And then I felt, oh, okay, now she's in my line. So I said, then yeah, never take it in negative way, because there will be a lot of negativism about what's going on. There will be a lot of trolling. There will be a lot of mocking about me and my family. So just take it easily and then do what you want to do. Be bold, right? I'm not going to be here forever. I'll be out soon. So we have all this. We have this time to rethink again and then strategize and go forward. So she happily said, yeah, let's do then. If you say that you want to fight, and I'm always there. So till now they are very supportive, because I have not left the fight as yet. So whenever I see, latest mean they notice served against me. So my family was ready that now you'll be going to jail. So yes, we are also getting ready. So by the evening they get to know that the notice was withdrawn. I said, what? We were already set to do different things this time, and so very easily you were let out. I mean, let free by withdrawing the notice. So that is the kind of support that I get. And the other thing that I want to mention, although I was disowned by my own fraternity, by my own people, in short, by my own fraternity, by my own people, I saw this ray of hope in some like-minded people like we meet here. I never expected that would happen, that much of support would be there for me. But when I got to know that a lot of people, people who know what I was saying, who know what the situation is, who know what I was trying to, say, what was the message, they came forward. They're very supportive till now. They're with me. So it is like a force to me to go forward. I was thinking of not giving up, but now I'm thinking that I have to do something for my people, for those supports, because I cannot just let them go freehand. They have a lot of hope in me. I now realize that when I started, making those outbursts, I never knew that people would be, there for me. But as I see that a lot of young generation, young minds are, taking a different perspective, I now see that I need to, take the torch forward and then actually lead them to where they want, because the future should be bright. With the situation that we are facing right now, I don't think the future is bright. It's very deep. It's unpredictable. So we need to do that, and I get a lot of support from my family, from my people now, from my like-minded organizations. So with their support, I'll take this forward, and I don't even think of losing them at any point of time.
So moving to the last question now. Are you still using Facebook?
Yes, but very hardly, because my phone is with the police station now. The problem is, when I'm trying to log in from other phone, I'm not able to get the code, because the code is being sent to that phone. Otherwise, I will stop using Facebook. It's my right.
Or you can move to Twitter.
Yeah, sure. I'm not very tech savvy. I just know how to use Facebook. I have Instagram in my phone, but I hardly use it, because I don't know those tabs and features available there. Again, Twitter is a very good platform, but I don't know how many people in Manipur use that. Facebook is more effective in Manipur as of now. Instagram is, yes, another thing, but I'm not very used to Instagram. But I will take your suggestion and then move to Twitter. Let's see.
Yeah. So the last question: any message that you have for the young people in Manipur, especially, or the young journalists? Because when you got arrested, even in Delhi, I mean, I myself was a student, and people were generally out on the streets talking about you and protesting against the arrest. So what is the message that you can give to them?
To the people, especially the younger generation in Manipur, my only message is very simple. Let me keep it very simple. Know your identity, know your origin. Okay, never think that you are in a very large pond swimming with this number of people. No, you are very marginalized. You are at the vicinity of being extinct from this world. So try and understand your identity, try and understand your origin, and then try and speak for the truth and justice. Because even if I have to say in Hindi का शास्त्र में ये होता है कि अब कलयुग खत्म होने वाला है, सत्य का युग आने वाला है. That's what I understand. So this is the transition from Kalyug to Satya Yug. So those Satya is in the era of Satya Yug, this generation which are coming up, they will be they will be there in the forefront. So understand this. Don't be swayed away by money, power, luxurious life. All those will come in you. I mean, if you do things good. So be grounded to your origin. Be grounded to your identity. Be sure what you speak of. And very important thing is, in Manipur, a lot of people don't know their rights. What sort of rights are given in the constitution, be it Indian constitution or international. So try and grasp those knowledge of what sort of rights you have. If you know that, there are a lot of things that you can do. And don't just bury your potential. Just try to explore what sort of things you can do, use your talent, interact with a lot of people, exchange your ideas and thoughts, and that's how you will flourish as an organization, as a society. So my only message is that don't be afraid. If you have anything that you don't like, feel free to speak up. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.